Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Karoti Vacharam Parnamagaya Tegrim Prapatamaham Mande Shigram Tirtharanam Paramanatamaram Chaitanya Mishram Kathanchana Smrite Yasmin Dushkaram Sukram Bhave Vismrite Parikram Syat Sri Chaitanyam Namamitam. Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the third day of our adventures with Lord Shiva. So what do you remember from yesterday?
The definition of humility.
Okay, definition of humility.
Humility means to accept the truth with the mood of love.
Yeah, acceptance of truth in the mood of love is humility. Okay.
Two types of faith.
Yeah.
Faith in Shastra and faith in Bhakti.
Okay. Shastra Shuddha and Bhakti Shuddha. Okay. Okay. What else?
Contrast between Parikshit Maharaj and Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. We saw something. Okay. What else?
We should try to understand the implicit.
Yeah, implicit needs. Yeah. We discussed about stated needs and implicit needs. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes we ourselves may have implicit needs. Huh? It's not that only it is about others. We ourselves will have implicit needs also. And then we expect that without saying it, people should take care of it. Right? And then sometimes when it is not taken care, then instead of just getting frustrated, it is better to state it. Because people are not able to understand. So instead of just keeping it in mind, better to state that, I am having this need and it's not being addressed, so why don't you do something about it? It's better. It's better sometimes. Well, Kalida always is to understand people are less intelligent. The nature of Kalida is that all of us are less intelligent, not that only one person or two. All of us are generally less intelligent in Kalida. We are not so good in understanding what is not stated. And especially as Kalida becomes more and more prominent, then it gets more and more gross. So stating becomes the status quo. Not stating is not so much status quo. Even if we see man-woman relationship also, previously the idea was that they should unite in proper Vedic system or in a proper system which is instituted by God, whether it is Vedic or whatever it is instituted by God. But now is only based on consent. Now consent is the king. Whether they are married or whether they are not married doesn't matter. If a man agrees with a woman and a woman agrees with a man, they can do whatever nonsense they want. So things are becoming very gross in Kalida. So therefore sometimes the stated implied needs may not be so nicely understood. Okay, good. Okay, what else?
Counseling session by Lord Shiva.
Yes, Lord Shiva's counseling. We saw some different steps which he took to pacify Mother Sati, but his counseling did work. Okay.
Some of the ways to give up envy we discussed yesterday.
Yeah, we discussed some of the ways to give up envy. Okay, good.
We saw example of how brahmachari versus brahmacharya, boy with one bag.
Yeah, okay. We saw that how the association with women expands everything, right? That was the context. Three means one who expands. Okay. Okay, good. So Mother Sati is still angry. She is still chastising her father. So we'll continue to hear the chastisement. Okay, please read. Translation. No, that's because. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sati continued. If one hears an irresponsible person blaspheme the master and controller of religion, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one is able to kill, then one should be forced cut out the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender. And after that, one should give up his own life.
See. Very heavy that how to react for blasphemy. Very, very heavy what she's saying. Okay. We'll discuss something about this. Because practically this world is full of offenders who keep blaspheming. Then how many times we can kill ourselves? Or how many times we can kill others? Neither killing ourselves is practical, nor killing others is practical. So we need to find some ways and means of handling this. Okay. Okay. Please.
Therefore,
I shall no longer bear this unworthy body, which has been received from you, who have blasphemed Lord Shiva. If someone has taken food which is poisonous, the best treatment is to vomit.
Yeah.
it is better to execute one's own occupational
duty than to criticize others. Elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas, since they do not need to follow them, just as the demigods travel in space whereas ordinary men travel on the surface of the earth.
Yeah. So that's the point. That sometimes those who are elevated, they may actually transgress some of the rules. They may forego some of the rules. So, but we should not try to copy it, nor we should take offense of what they are doing. So, they are like fire. So Surya Swami explains that they are like fire. Because they are like fire, they can purify everything. So therefore, they should neither be copied nor they should be criticized. Okay.
In the Vedas, there are direction for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to material enjoyments, activities for those who are materially detached. In considerations of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person's, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendently situated.
Yeah. So that is why it is said in Bhagavata very clearly that a devotee who is completely surrendered to Krishna, he has no obligation. Devasi Bhutasarana and Karona, that means Rajan, Sarvatmana yat Sharanam Sharanyam, Tatiyam Mukundam Pariharyate. So when he is completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord, then there is no obligations for him. So here there are two types of people are described. Those who are materially attached and those who are materially detached. So those who are materially attached, they have certain obligation. Those who are materially detached, they have certain obligation. And those who are transcendental, they have certain other obligation. Okay. Now what if devotee is a devotee, but he still has material desires? Then what happens?
And
Then what happens?
in the process, they may get lost.
That's okay, but currently what he should do? Yeah, so he should follow the rules and regulations of Varna and Ashrama strictly. He should not think that I am devotee, I can do whatever I want. He should not think like that, right? He should follow the rules and regulations of Varna and Ashrama very strictly. Varnashram is not an anga of bhakti. If you see Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami very clearly explains the 64 angas of bhakti. And then he writes a whole chapter to explain how Varnashrama is not an anga of bhakti. But at the same time, Varnashrama is very useful for bhakti, for practicing bhakti. Varnashrama is like a safety net. It's like a safety net. I don't know if you have seen circus. How many of you have seen circus? Very few people have seen circus. Yeah, previously there used to be circus. They will go every place and then they will put circus. And in that, they will play high bar. That on top of the circus, they will swing. Swing. They will swing. They will catch one swing to another swing. They will do so many different type of acrobatic activities. But that will be done on the top of the tent. The tent will be very high and it will be done on the top of the tent. But before they do that, they will tie one net at the bottom level. They will tie one big net which will actually cover the entire arena of the main arena of the circus. They will tie one net. Why they are tying that net? That in case the guy slips, you straight away fall into that net and nothing will happen to you. And in the end, after finishing all the acrobatics, they will all jump into the net from top. They will all jump into the net. And then they will jump up and down, they show some gymnastics and then they go back. So Varnashram is like that safety net. Because this bhakti is somewhere on top. And you are doing all the acrobatics in bhakti. Bhakti involves many acrobatics. You are doing all the acrobatics in bhakti. You are jumping from here to there, you are doing so many things. You are doing so many acrobatics in bhakti. But in between, if you are not very careful, you can also fall down. When you fall down, when there is no net, what will happen? Your bones will smash and then you will die. So therefore, Varnashram is that net. That when you fall down to Varnashram and then you can bounce up. And you can try to catch some help and then you can try to go back. So that is why Varnashram is very important. That's why Prabhupada said that 50% of his mission is establishing Varnashram. Because Varnashram by nature will not allow you to do nonsense. By nature it will not allow you to do nonsense. Because everything is well defined. Everything is well defined. Your brahmachari means your life is well defined. That you should live like this only. There is no margin of error when you follow Varnashram. If you are grahastha, then you have to live like this only. There is no margin of error. Same way Vanaprastha, you have to live like this only. Sannyasi, you should live like this only. Same way Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everybody's role is very clearly defined and how they should act, what they should do, what they should not do. It's all very, very clear. So therefore there is hardly any room for manipulating. So it's very safe. It's very safe. So if we have material desires and if we are practicing bhakti and we still have material desires, we should not ignore the duties of Varna and Ashrama. Very important. We should not think, oh, I am like Lord Shiva, I can do whatever I want. Okay. Yes, next.
My dear Father, the opulence we possess is impossible for either you or your flatterers to imagine. For persons who engage in fruitive activities by performing great sacrifices are concerned with satisfying their bodily necessities by eating foodstuff offered as a sacrifice. We can exhibit our opulences simply by desiring to do so. This can be achieved only by great personalities who are renounced, self-realized souls.
Yeah, so you see Prabhupada, he was struggling in Delhi and he did not have anybody to distribute Back to Godhead magazine. That he himself went, he printed and then he posted, he only sold, and sometimes it is explained in Lila that he even fainted and he fell on the street. It looks like that he is one feeble old man who has nothing, But see the type of opulence he has manifested. This property alone, how many thousands of crores it would be worth today? So much, I don't know. Some accountant might tell that this, how much is this worth. Mayapur is worth how many crores? Thousands of crores Mayapur is worth. Juhu, and there's only two properties. Now you take all the properties of ISKCON all over the world. You can't even imagine how many billions of dollars it is worth. You cannot even start counting the number of zeros of the worth of the property. This is the opulence Prabhupada has displayed. But he was the same man who was fainting in the street in Delhi. So simply by desiring to do so, great personalities can display opulence which cannot be imagined by anybody. Prabhupada desired that Krishna's name should be spread all over the world. There should be so many gorgeous temples for Krishna. There should be so many nice arrangements for Krishna. And because he desired, and because that desire is in line with Krishna's desire, and that desire is in line with the desire of the parampara, and that desire has got nothing to do with his self-gratification. You see the type of opulence Prabhupada has manifested, and he continues to manifest. He is no longer there physically with us, but he is continuing to manifest his opulence, not only in terms of property, but in terms of people. I think this room might contain easily how many engineers, how many professionals, how many type of people who are well read, how many type of people who are well educated, well intelligent, young people, so many of you. This is Prabhupada's, we are all Prabhupada's opulence. You are opulence of Prabhupada. You are manifesting Prabhupada's opulence. By just coming here, being in the institution, doing service, what you are doing. This is all part of Prabhupada's display of his opulence. Big companies are struggling to attract talent, young talent. Big companies are struggling. They are so much struggling to attract young talent. They are giving so much package, huge package. Crores of rupees they are giving package. What ISKCON is giving? Little what is But so many young people are so enthusiastic to come and do service in ISKCON. Well qualified, well read, and very intelligent, young, strong, coming to do service in ISKCON. Very enthusiastic. And it's not that it is not challenging. It's not that it's not challenging. Everything is bed of roses when you come here dancing every day happily. Dancing every day happily is there. But after that you finish dancing, then there is so much problems also. But still we want to go on, still we want to do something. This is Prabhupada's opulence. This is Prabhupada's opulence. So because we are part of the opulence of a pure devotee, so in spite of all the challenges, we also feel very happy. We also feel very happy. We feel very satisfied. Feel very satisfied. So that is what she is saying. That we can exhibit our opulence simply by desiring to do so. And that cannot be understood by materialistic people. That cannot be understood by materialistic people. Okay, please read.
You are an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, and unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I am very much ashamed of our bodily relationship, and I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender at the lotus feet of the greatest personality.
So she is very, very angry.
Because of our family relationship with Lord Shiva, when Lord Shiva addresses me as Dakshini, I at once becomes morose, and my jolliness and my smile at once disappear. I feel very much sorry that my body, which is just like a plant, had been produced by you. I shall therefore give it up.
See, when Sati is speaking all these things, she is a very young girl. She is not even come of age. But see the amount of knowledge she has, see the determination with which she speaks, and see how she is able to present herself very boldly. Okay.
Maitreya, the sage told Viduna, O annihilator of enemies, while thus speaking to her father in the arena of sacrifice, Sati sat down on the ground and faced north. Dressed in saffron garments, she sanctified herself with water and closed her eyes to observe herself in the process of mystic yoga.
Okay.
First of all, she sat in the required sitting posture, and then she carried the life air upwards and placed it in the position of equilibrium near the navel. Then she raised her life air mixed with intelligence to the heart, and then gradually towards the pulmonary passage, and from there to
between her eyebrows.
Okay, this is a yogic process.
Thus, in order to give up her body, which had been so respectfully and affectionately seated on the lap of Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by great sages and saints, Sati, due to anger towards her father, began to meditate on the fiery air within the body.
Sati concentrated all her meditation on the holy lotus feet of her husband, Lord Shiva, who is the supreme spiritual master of all the world. Thus she became completely cleansed of all taints of sin and quit her body in a blazing fire by meditation on the fiery elements.
When Sati annihilated her body in anger, there was tumultuous roar all over the universe. Why had Sati, the wife of most respected demigod, Lord Shiva, quit her body in such a manner?
Yeah. So see, the most striking thing in this whole incident is that it's not that Sati just like that lit fire on her body and died. She did a whole process. She sat down. Now she went through the whole yogic process. She meditated. She brought the fire within herself. So she did a whole process to leave her body. And throughout the process, Daksha was just standing and watching. This is the most surprising thing. This is the most surprising thing. Why? Because it is very, very unexpected of a father that he will simply stand and watch his daughter die. Completely unexpected of a father. But Daksha did that. From this, we can understand that what kind of cruelty a devotee can commit when he actually practices devotional service in mode of ignorance. From this, we can clearly understand that when a devotee's devotional service is contaminated by mode of ignorance, then what kind of cruelty he can commit. So therefore, we should understand that the influence of mode of ignorance is very dangerous while we are practicing devotional service. It can make us very insensitive. It can make us very insensitive. And it can almost make a demon out of us. Even though I said that there are no demons in this pastime, which is true, there are no demons in this pastime. But simply due to the influence of mode of ignorance, the way Daksha behaved was worse than a demon. Worse than a demon. So therefore, the influence of mode of ignorance should be understood as very dangerous in practice of devotional service. So because of that, the envy comes, and the envy makes one very, very hard-hearted, that one can commit abominable activities simply by such hard-heartedness, without any consideration for anyone's welfare, including one's own welfare. Okay. Yes.
Especially devotional service is transcendental.
Yeah.
So this practicing in the modes, 3 modes.
Yeah.
Like when it's called as pure devotional service and neophyte levels of practitioners. So this neophyte stage is also like this 3 modes will applicable to this practicing devotional service.
See, the point is that whether one is a neophyte or whether one is a Mahabharata, if he sincerely tried to practice the principles of pure devotional service, Anabhirashita Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhanavattama Anukulyena Krishnanasena Bhakti Uttama, if one tries to practice this consciously, then even though the modes may try to affect him, he will not be carried away by the modes because his focus is on practicing pure devotional service. Okay? And he is conscious about it. Prabhupada gives the example in Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada gives a very nice example. Prabhupada gives the example of a child trying to walk. The ability to walk is innately there with the child. The child innately has the ability to walk. But in the beginning, when he starts walking, he walks very badly. Taka he walks. Okay? And then many times he falls down also. Many times he falls down also. So it is not a defect that his walking is not perfect. It is not a defect that he falls down. But it is definitely a defect if he doesn't get up and try to walk again, and if he doesn't try to walk properly. It is definitely a defect. Is clear? So that's why that example is very powerful. That when a child falls down, he cries, but it doesn't mean that he will give up walking. He will get up and then he will start walking again. And same way, he will try to perfect the way he walks, even though he doesn't know how to walk properly in the beginning. But he will try to put his steps properly, he will try to perfect the way he walks, till walking becomes his nature. Now, we don't think so much that I have to put this, feet forward, now I have to then keep the other feet properly so that that feet will not touch this feet, and then I should put it like that. We don't think so much like that, because walking has become our nature. We just walk, we don't even think, we just walk. So like that, practicing pure devotional service should become our nature. This is why it is written as Anyabhula Chitta Sunya. But in the beginning, these things might be there, but if he is focusing on the principles of pure devotional service, and if he is determined that I will follow this principle, it will not affect him. But if he is not focused on the principles of pure devotional service, and then if he thinks that, okay, Tamaguna is there, let it be there, what is the problem? Anyway, I am practicing devotional service. Rajaguna is there, let it be there, anyway, I am practicing devotional. This is where the problem comes. The problem comes when one is not conscious of applying the principles of pure devotional service. Anyway, Tamaguna is there, let it be there. Anyway, Rajaguna is there, let it be there. Sometimes we think that Rajaguna is good also. Sometimes we think Tamaguna is good. Sometimes we think like that, no? Tamaguna is good. We think that, oh, if I don't sleep enough, my whole health will get spoiled. So I should give priority to sleep. Let me shoot Mangalarati. Sometimes we think like that. So we think we want to sleep for 10 hours, 12 hours. And in Kalila, you can find support for everything in Google. You can write a whole article that how it is very important to sleep for 10 hours. So, when we don't want to give up the association of the gunas, then only the problem starts. Then only the problem starts. But if you are very careful, thinking that yes, I am afflicted by Rajoguna, I am afflicted by Tamoguna, but let me take all the help to come out of this situation, then it's not a problem.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, this here Sati is just like girl only. So he created yogic fire. So in previous yugas, how it is means everybody knows that how to raise the.
Yeah, and especially Sri Sati knows, she is better than she herself. We are not dealing with some small girl who just doesn't know anything. You find that the girls who are Kshatriyas, they are quite capable. Like even when Kunti Maharani was a very small girl, that time Durvasa Muni met her. And he gave her some mantras, she was able to actually chant the mantra, she was able to do all those things. And she was able to take care of Durvasa. Now you think like, she is such a small girl, but her father confidently told her, oh, take care of Durvasa, and she was able to take care of Durvasa very nicely. That Durvasa was so pleased that he actually gave her the mantra. And we know Durvasa is not a person who gets pleased very easily. So they had nice training. They had very nice training. And everybody had nice training. Kalila only is a problem. Kalila we don't have training. And we don't have system of training.
wonderfully, and this we heard, this I heard that Sati entered in that sacrificial fire. So,
Sometimes they say like that, but it is not written here in Bhagavatam. Maybe in some other pastime. There are different versions of this pastime. Sometimes it is said that Lord Shiva carried the body of Sati and then it was cut in so many places and different body parts fell in different places. They became Shakti Pitas. All these things are there. Some variations in pastime is possible from one Divya Yuga to another Divya Yuga. And same way some variation is possible from one day of Brahma to another day of Brahma. So there could be some variations. Bhagavatam itself allows for that variations. In the second canto, no, in the third canto Prabhupada discusses it. There could be some variations in past times sometimes. So these are possible. But generally we go by Bhagavatam. We don't worry too much about what is said here and there. We just focus on what Bhagavatam says. Because the advantage of that is Bhagavatam is a very focused Purana. Okay. It's very difficult to get distracted when you read Bhagavatam. It's extremely focused. And it's focused on one point, that how to make you fall in love with Krishna. How to make the reader fall in love with Krishna. This is the only point Bhagavatam focuses on from beginning to end. So Bhagavatam has singular focus from beginning to end. It doesn't allow the reader to deviate from that focus even for a millimeter or so. So therefore, if we just process the information which is given in Bhagavatam, is well and good and sufficient for us. There is no need for us to get too much involved with this. Of course, preachers have bigger responsibility because sometimes people come up with such questions. They say, "Arey, tum aisa bolta hai, lekin maine aisa padha hai." All these things, they come up with questions. So, to the extent it is required for us to logically answer those questions, we should know information. But otherwise, generally, if we keep our focus on Bhagavatam, it's generally good. Unless you want to become a Kathakar of Puranas. Nowadays, in ISKCON, people do that also. They become Kathakar of Puranas. Then they will speak Puranas and things like that. Because there are different people who are attracted to different things. But if you become Kathakar of Puranas, then somehow or other you should try to bring them to devotional service. Otherwise, just Puranic Katha is, it can be anything and everything. Okay. Please read.
It was astonishing that Daksha, who was Prajapati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter Sati, who was not only chaste but was also great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect.
Yeah. Okay.
Daksha, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be a Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offenses to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
While people were talking among themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksha with their weapons.
So they were also not standing quietly.
They came forward forcefully, but Bhrigu Muni saw the danger and offering obligation into the southern side of sacrificial fire, immediately uttered mantric hymns from the Yajurveda by which the destroyer of yogic performances could be killed immediately.
When Bhrigu Muni offered oblations in the fire, immediately many thousands of demigods named Bhrigu became manifested. All of them were powerful, having achieved strength from Soma, the moon.
when Ribu, demigod, attacked the Kurus and Guhyakas with half-burnt fuel from a fire, all these attendants of Sati fled in different directions and disappeared. This was possible simply because of Brahman Tejas, Brahminical power.
So they are so much powerful and they could do so many wonderful things. Okay.
So these powers of Brahmanas are in mode of Sattva-guna?
Because they are in Sattva-guna and they practice in Sattva-guna, so therefore they have that kind of powers and they don't use their powers unnecessarily. Because when they use their powers, they also lose them. So they are very stingy in using their powers. They know that they are very powerful, but they don't use their powers also. They don't so easily use their powers. Like even when they curse, they lose their power. So it's not like it's like a free lunch. So devotional service is the only process where you do something and then you gain more. You give and then you gain more. But in any other process, you give something, you have to lose something. You see like that. Any process like that. There is no free lunch in this universe. So therefore Brahmins are generally very tolerant. They have all this characteristic which is born with them, they all have this qualities which is born with them, mainly because they are very, very powerful. And because they are very tolerant, they are very self-controlled, and whether their senses are under control, so they don't use it so easily, even though they have power, they don't use it so easily. Many times we see Brahmins prefer to die than use their power. They don't use their power, they just die. Because they know if they die, they will anyway take one more birth and their previous punya karma which they have accumulated, that will give them again a very powerful situation, powerful birth. So they are not so much worried. Instead of using their power to defend the body, they think that anyway this body is going to go, so let it die, what is the big deal? That's why Brahmins don't protest when Asuras try to kill them or something like that. Brahmins generally don't protest, they just die. So they don't want to unnecessarily utilize their power. But situation comes, then they do it. Because now the situation is like that. That if they don't do it, then it will be a big disaster. So they have to stop or they have to protect the area. So therefore they did. In Ramayana we find that when Vishwamitra wanted the yajna to be protected, then he took Ram and Lakshman. But it's Vishwamitra who actually tells Ram and Lakshman different type of military techniques. He gives them different mantras, he gives them different weapons. And if they could have had so much weapon, mantra, everything, he could have protected himself. Why did he take Ram and Lakshman? Because he didn't want to get distracted from his business. So the business of the Kshatriyas is to protect. So he gives them sufficient knowledge by which they can protect, and then he wants to do his business. He doesn't want to get involved with disturbing. Even the same way, when the sages, when Ram goes to forest, different sages come and tell him that these asuras are really troubling us, please kill them. It's not that they are not competent of killing the asuras. They are quite competent. They can just curse and they can kill the asuras. But if they curse, then they lose all their power. Then they have to start from beginning. So they don't want to do it. So then there's a class of people who are known as Kshatriyas who are actually, they are duty bound to protect them. So they just delegate the duty to them and then they can please protect them. That's how Brahmins do. Being a Brahmin means being very responsible. Being very responsible about your knowledge, being very responsible about your activities, being very responsible about using your position, power, situation, everything. And they are very expert in that. So they are like that. Yes.
Is same true in case of yogis also? Those who exhibit this siddhis and all?
Yeah, but sometimes yogis can go crazy also. When they go crazy, when they think that because they got yoga siddhi, they become God. Okay. So That is why Krishna says that Ekam Shirastito Jagat. That whole verse Krishna speaks to make fun of the yogis. Okay. Because yogis, when they actually achieve all their siddhis, okay, then they can go against nature. And they can also create planetary systems. They can do creative work and they can go against the law of nature. Now, the Lord also does creative work and the Lord also goes against law of nature. Now, these people think I can do creative work, I can go against law of nature, that means I become God. So, therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ekam Shirastito Jagat. Just by a spark of my splendor, I maintain the whole creation. So, maintaining the creation is an insignificant aspect of being God. That doesn't make one God. Just because one creates, maintains and destroys, that doesn't make him God. That's an insignificant aspect of being God. That is done by one amsha of God. Ekam Shirastito Jagat. That's done by one amsha of God. And one piddly yogi, he is able to do something, so he thinks I have become God. Right? So that's when yogis become crazy. Otherwise, if they are responsible, then they will become devotees. And they will become devotees. Otherwise, if they become irresponsible, then all this Sai Baba, that Baba, this Baba, all this intellect. Tamil Nadu also there are many yogis, especially those who worship Lord Shiva. Many of them become siddhas and yogis. They have, they used to be, not now. They used to have extraordinary power. So sometimes if you go to Shiva temples in Tamil Nadu, along the Shiva temple you will also find the temple of some siddhas and things like that. They are still there, they are very powerful. But that doesn't make them God. But these guys are crazy, they think that they are God. They think I have become God. I have become Shiva. I was worshipping Shiva, I became Shiva. They think like that. Crazy people. So that's why Sati is saying, if you want, we can exhibit whatever type of opulence. Like, there's a famous question, like somebody asked Prabhupada, what is your magic? What Prabhupada said? Yeah? Yeah, Prabhupada said, I convert peace to magic. This is my magic. And that's a very difficult magic to perform. That's a very difficult magic to perform. Okay? It's not like very easy, like bringing some gold or bringing some vibhuti and then giving. It's not like that. To change people's heart is the most difficult magic to perform. And Prabhupada very casually performed that magic. Very casually performed that magic. So that's why he is the biggest magician actually. But he is very simple. He doesn't show his power so easily. You don't make out the Prabhupada. Of course, you see him as a powerful personality, not in that sense of showing some very mystical powers or magic powers. Okay.
The struggle between the two decisions was so strong that she was pushed from one side of the room to another, and she began to move just like the pendulum of a clock.
So sometimes the body language, it reflects the state of the mind. So when a person is very disturbed, then you can see very clearly that his bodily activities are also very disturbed, very disturbed. So like that she was doing, yeah.
In other words, since Lord Shiva is the Atma, Shiva also means Atma. It is indicated here that Sati was prepared to commit suicide. Another meaning of the word Aprati Purasa is the personality who has no rival. Since Lord Shiva could not be persuaded to give her permission, Sati took shelter of woman's last weapon, weeping, which forces a husband to agree to the proposal of his wife.
Yeah, that's why whenever a woman is crying, a brahmachari should stay far away from that woman. You find a crying woman, then what you should do?
Run away.
You should stay far away from that crying woman. You should not even try to go to pacify her. Ask her, why are you crying? You should leave the job to some woman. If you are very concerned, you can ask some Mataji, this girl is crying, please see what she wants, and then you can try to pacify her. And then don't stand there, just run away from that place. Because women's tears are very powerful. They are very powerful. Okay.
According to the Vedic conception of family life, the husband gives half his body to his wife, and the wife gives half of her body to her husband. In other words, a husband without a wife or a wife without a husband is incomplete. Husband and wife is due to generally separation between husband and wife is due to womanly behavior. Divorce takes place due to womanly weakness.
You should understand that Prabhupada says generally. Yeah? When Prabhupada says generally, it doesn't mean that it's an absolute statement. It is generally the case, but there could also be exceptions to it. So sometimes people don't read the sentences the way Prabhupada writes. Then they make their own meaning out of it. Many times I have seen people just quoting this as like an absolute statement. That Prabhupada says woman is responsible for divorce. No, Prabhupada never said woman is responsible for divorce. Prabhupada said generally that it is due to womanly behavior. Generally, Prabhupada says. There could be exceptions also.
The best course for a woman is to abide by the orders of her husband. That makes family life very peaceful.
So for this, the husband has to be qualified also. Okay. For this, the husband has to be qualified, especially if the woman wants to advance in devotional service. If the woman doesn't want to advance in devotional service, just want to keep the family peaceful, then she has to follow the order of the husband. But she will not be able to advance in devotional service. Yeah. So these things are some things which are should be understood how to read what Prabhupada is saying.
That makes family life very peaceful. Sometimes there may be misunderstanding between husband and wife, as found even in such an elevated family relationship as that of Sati and Lord Shiva. But wife should not leave her husband's protection because of such misunderstanding. If she does so, it is understood to be due to her womanly weakness.
This is generally, this is not like an absolute statement.
The word Gata Vyatha used in this connection means without fear. Sati did not care that she was going alone, therefore she was almost fearless. Anucharaha means those who can immediately understand the purpose of their master.
So we discussed this, that the followers of Lord Shiva understood the purpose of their master, so therefore they immediately followed Sati. And then they made a very nice... Okay. This transcendental vibration.
This transcendental sound vibration has been simplified by the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In this age, no one is expected to be highly educated in the Vedic ways of understanding because people are very slow, lazy and unfortunate. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has recommended the sound vibration Hare Krishna, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, it is also recommended Yajna Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. At the present moment, it is impossible to gather sacrificial necessities because of the poverty of the population and their lack of knowledge in Vedic mantras. Therefore, for this age, it is recommended that people gather together and chant the Hare Krishna mantra to satisfy the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is accompanied by his associates. Indirectly, this indicates Lord Chaitanya, who is accompanied by his associates Nityananda, Advaita and others. That is the process of performing yajna in this age. Another significant point in this verse is that there were animals for sacrifice. The real purpose of the sacrifice was not to replace a slaughterhouse, but to test Vedic mantras by giving an animal new life. Animals were used to test the power of the Vedic mantras, not for meat.
Yeah. So here Prabhupada actually talks about the importance of Sankirtana. Because fire sacrifice, whenever it is done, even now in Lila it is done, it is very attractive. People like to see some fire burning. People like to see some things thrown into the fire. And people like to see some Brahmins sitting and chanting, hum, 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 mantras. It's very attractive. The whole setup is very attractive. So, but at the same time, we should understand that the real yajna for this age is Sankirtan yajna. So sometimes we may do some sacrifices to attract people. Many temples nowadays is becoming common that they do some fire yajna to attract people, and people also like it. People like to see fire burning. People like to see nice things thrown into the fire. So it's all there. Okay. But we should very clearly understand that while the sacrifice is going on, there should be kirtan. We should very clearly understand this. There should be kirtan. If you try to do sacrifice without kirtan, then you are getting into great danger. Getting into great danger. Because fire sacrifice is a very technical stuff. It's a very technical stuff. And when you do such an activities which is very technical, there are bound to be mistakes. There are bound to be mistakes. So that mistakes can be nullified or removed only by performing Sankirtana Yajna. When Bali Maharaj was performing Yajna, and that Yajna was stopped by Vamanadev, and then so many things happened. So many things happened. Then finally, Vamanadev gave mercy to Bali Maharaj and sent him to Sutala. So when Bali went to Sutala, then the pastime ended. Did it end? No, the pastime did not end there. Because still there was Sukracharya to deal with. Then Vamanadev asked Sukracharya, that why did you curse Bali? What is his fault? Why did you curse Bali? What is his fault? Then Sukracharya said, I cursed him wrongly. There is no fault from his side. My disciple did not do any fault. But my curse was wrong. Sukracharya frankly admitted to Vamanadev that I am wrong, my disciple was right. Then after that Vamanadev said that, see this sacrifice is stopped, you please do whatever purificatory things which is required and complete the sacrifice. So when he said that, then Sukracharya spoke one verse, very important verse. He said, Mantradas tantradas chitram desha kaladha vastunaha sarvam karoti nischidram anasankirtanam tava. This is coming from the horse's mouth. It is coming from the Sukracharya. He is the spiritual master of demons. He is saying that this is the only way to purify. Anasankirtanam tava. So therefore, whenever we do fire sacrifices in the temple or any place, sometimes you may go to some of your congregation members' house, and then you may have to do some fire sacrifice because they want to do some samskara, or they may just want to do some yajna, whatever it is. But whenever it is like that, you should make sure that there is always Harima. Okay? Clear? It's very important. If you cannot do kirtan, at least somebody should sit and chant. You should take one devotee whose duty will be what? To sit and chant throughout the time fire sacrifice will happen. You should not stop. You should not become part of fire sacrifice and then start seeing the fire and then, oh, fire is dancing, very nice, and then stop chanting. You should not do all that. So just sit and chant or do kirtan. Very important, okay? Yeah?
Somebody put some
So when Pankajagiri Prabhu was leaving his body, I was there. When he came, because I am in charge of hospital in Mayapur. So I was thickly involved in that whole process of treating him in Mayapur, taking him to Kolkata, arranging his treatment there, and then bringing him back to Mayapur, and then taking care of him for the rest of the days he stayed in Mayapur. In each and every arrangement, I was very closely involved because I am the person in charge of the hospital, so I need to get involved with such things. So when he was coming back, then overnight we set up an ICU in the senior brahmachari ashram on the ground floor. We made oxygen line, that, this, so many things we did, and we made a complete ICU setup. And we also flew two ICU nurses from Bhartiya Hospital, Mumbai, who came there, and then there was an ICU doctor whom we hired locally, and we put all the setup in place for him. And we were still hoping that he may recover and something might happen. And when he was there, when he was brought there, when he was put into the bed, then I tried to put the recorded chanting of Prabhupada in his room, that the electronic recording of the chanting of Prabhupada in his room. So that time Janya's Prabhu told me, it's better to play Bhagavatam class than to play this mechanical chanting, which is coming from machine. He told me that better we play Bhagavatam class. So then throughout the time when Panjani Prabhu was there, he continuously played Bhagavatam class of Prabhupada. Many people use Prabhupada chanting. This is my experience with what Janya's Prabhu said. I don't know if it is a particular instruction for Panjani Prabhu or this is general instruction, I don't know. But somehow he seemed to be liking that recorded chanting we just.
Bhagavatam class also recorded, chanting also recorded.
Yeah, but Bhagavatam class is just going on. No? It's not like you're not artificially repeating the chanting. This is like a.
Repetitively, artificially, but this is.
Yeah, it's like naturally Prabhupada's body. Naturally Prabhupada's body of what he did or what he spoke. There's some difference between both of us. So since we spoke about playing recording, I thought that it's nice to share. These repetitive recordings, some devotees don't seem to approve it so much. I have seen many people playing it in my hospital. I mean, in my hospital place, we play it because many people ask for it also to play it. But generally, when we get devotees who are going to leave their body, palliative care, who are going to leave their body, we prefer to have live chanting, live kirtan, live chanting, live reading of proper books. Always prefer to have live kirtan, live chanting. At least from that time, I am very particular that there should be someone chanting. And if proper disciples, then we try to call proper disciples in Mayapur who can come and who can chant for their God brothers, and who can be with them, who can read something for them. Seems to be more appropriate. Okay.
This shows that women as a class are very soft-hearted. Their natural affection and love cannot be checked by artificial means. Women are naturally soft-hearted, but men are sometimes very hard-hearted.
Okay.
For her father, neither talk with her nor welcome her by asking. The material bodily conception is so polluted that even upon slight provocations, all our relationship of love and affections are nullified. Bodily relationships are so transient that even though one is affectionate towards someone in a bodily relationship, a slight provocations terminates this intimacy.
So generally, we should try to have nice relationship among the body of devotees. Okay. Sometimes there could be some misunderstanding, and sometimes it may be possible that two devotees cannot work together with each other. because of their opposite nature or because they have some different working style or whatever it is. These are all natural. It's not, there's nothing wrong. It's not like, everybody should try to work with you. It's not like that. So, two devotees may prefer not to work with each other. Two devotees may prefer not to be very close to each other. This is all fine. But overall, there should be good relationship with everybody. And in case that relationship is disturbed or spoiled due to some reason, at least we should rectify it to the extent that we can be happy by seeing the other person. To that extent, we should rectify. We may not go and have some very close friendship with that person, or we may not work with that person together. All that is fine, but we should not be morose by seeing that person. We should feel happy. Okay, he's also a nice devotee. He's doing something. I'm also a nice devotee. I'm doing something. We should at least feel that much happy. That is very important. Otherwise, in Kali Yuga, the bodily conception is so strong that even amongst devotees, sometimes devotees become so, spoiled in relation with each other that they don't want to say Hare Krishna to each other. Like if this devotee comes this side, that devotee will go that side. Why you can just say Hare Krishna? What is the problem? You can just acknowledge, say Hare Krishna, give a smile. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything. It just only to understand that, okay, he is also devotee, he is also doing something nice, I am also devotee, I am also trying to do something. So, that much relationship we should always try to maintain, in spite of all differences. There's a very nice purport in 4th canto, I am sure. Of course, you will study, but still not gone there. When the Lord appears before the Prachetas, the Lord says to Prachetas that he is very pleased with them because of their cooperation with each other. So in that purport, Prabhupada says that even in the assembly of devotees, there could be some differences. But Prabhupada says that differences should be understood as spiritual. So what does that mean?
That should be.
What does that mean?
That should be for the pleasure of the Lord.
Yeah, that is true. What does it mean to interpersonal relationship?
We should appreciate other side.
Yeah, it means, that's what it means. It means that in spite of differences, we should also try to appreciate that he is trying to do his best to please the Lord. So in that sense, we should be happy. In that sense, we should be happy. We may not approve his method of trying to please the Lord, but the fact that he is trying to please the Lord, in that sense, we should be happy and we should be respectful. That is very important. Otherwise, we will become like this. Just, it will become another bodily relationship. Okay.
She was not sorry for herself, for she was ready to come to her father's house without being invited. But she wanted to see whether or not her husband was being respected. To see her relatives, her sisters and mother was not so important. Even when she was received by her mother and sister, she did not care, for she was most concerned that her husband was being insulted in the sacrifice. When she marked the insult, she became greatly angry, and she looked at her father so angrily that Daksha appeared to burn in her vision.
You see, all the reasons she gave to Lord Shiva for coming has got nothing to do with what Prabhupada is writing now. She gave some very, very flimsy reasons to Lord Shiva for coming. She said, everybody is dressing nicely, I also want to dress nicely. Everybody is putting jewel, I also want to put jewel. And she specifically told, I want to go and see my relatives. My sisters would have come, my mother's sisters would have come, my mother would have come. She gave one big list of reasons of why she wants to go to her father's house. But when she comes to her father's house, then all those people whom she listed, they are all nicely welcoming her. Her mother is nicely welcoming her, her sisters are nicely welcoming her, her mother's sisters are nicely welcoming her, they gave her place, they gave her presents, everything they did. But she is most concerned with, not even Daksha, she is most concerned whether her husband is getting respected or not. So, even though she stated many things as her concern, but her actual reason for coming, she did not reveal to her husband. Why she did not reveal to her husband? Because if she tells her husband, then Shiva will say, don't worry, whether he respects you or not, whether he respects you doesn't matter, you don't worry about it. Just leave it, let's be happy. But she was very concerned that her husband should be respected. So she gave all other reasons and then she came and she did not give this reason. But Lord Shiva understood. So therefore he addressed this point with her. That you will go there, you will find that we are not respected there and that disrespect will be like death for you. So don't go there. So we find in this pastime that Sati is most concerned about Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva is most concerned about Sati. But in spite of their concern for each other, just because they don't communicate openly with each other, they cause disaster for each other.
Shiva told, you go openly.
Yeah, but she didn't tell openly. And Shiva also did try to stop her completely, saying that, hey, this is why you are going. I know this, you stop. She did not say all that. He said, okay, if you want to go, you go. See, she is also acting as if she has got nothing so much to do with Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is also acting as if she has got nothing to do with Sati. But actually they care for each other so much. Lord Shiva cares for each other, for Sati so much. Sati cares for Lord Shiva so much. They care for each other so much. That Lord Shiva destroyed the whole sacrifice just because Sati was killed. And he punished the demigods, all of them very heavily. When he was insulted, he didn't do all that. But when Sati was insulted, then he did whole of destruction. Whole destruction he did. So, communication is very important. Sometimes you find same thing with devotees also. They care for each other, but just they don't communicate. They are doing everything else and they are fighting and that, this, everything so much is going on. But they don't focus on the aspect that they actually care for each other. They don't focus on that aspect that they actually care for each other. If you can focus on the aspect of care, then you can actually resolve your differences very simple manner, very nicely. Instead of just focusing on the differences, if you focus on the aspect that you actually care for each other, you appreciate each other, you appreciate each other's service, if you can focus on that, then it's much easier to resolve the differences between devotees. It's much easier than to simply focus on the differences. Okay? Yes?
It might also be the case that Sati, like a child's mind, whatever is not there at disposal, they want to have it until the time they get it, they have value for it. So till the time she had not met her relatives, she was valuing their association. And when she got it, now she wants something else, like a child.
Possible, it's quite possible what you're saying. But then we generally understand everything by how the acharyas explain. Okay. Because the acharyas have a better understanding of what is happening than what we try to understand.
No, Prabhupada is writing that when she was there, she was not valuing it. She wanted to see whether he is getting importance. He is not saying that she got this attitude at home also.
See, she is saying to see her relatives, her sister, mother was not so important.
Yeah.
That's what Prabhupada is writing.
At this place.
No, he did not say that just because she got it, she did not value it. Prabhupada, the way Prabhupada writes is that it was not so important for her even then, it is not so important for her even now. That's how the way he writes it. He doesn't say that now that she received it, she did not care for it anymore. Doesn't say like that. And also in the verse also it doesn't say like that. See, she was not sorry for herself. First point Robert says is that she was not sorry for herself, for she was ready to come to her father's house without being invited. So that is the first point Prabhupada makes. So that means it was not so much for her own pleasure. But the way she expressed it to Lord Shiva, if you actually go back and read what she said, it exclusively looked as if it was for her pleasure. She never told Lord Shiva that I want to make sure that you are respected. If you go back to the chapter where Sati and Shiva are speaking to each other, every reason she gives is that I want to dress myself nicely, I want to see my relatives, I want to do this, I want to do that. Everything is centered around her. All her reasoning is centered around her. Her reasoning is not centered around Lord Shiva's respect. That's what the way she speaks. But when she comes here, then that's not, Prabhupada says she did not care for it so much.
Yeah, Prabhupada is writing that first she was most concerned that her husband was being insulted. So
Yeah.
now she is affected by the insult. It is not that she was caring it for it in the beginning itself. But just because Shiva is not getting the
But if you see Shiva's statement, Shiva is saying this before. Okay. He is saying this before. You will go there, you will find that I am insulted, and that insult you will not be able to take it because then it will be worse than death for you. So Shiva understood her mind. Otherwise there was no reason for him to address this. He understood what she was thinking.
Shiva knew her nature, that if happens like this, she will commit suicide. Not
Yeah.
the nature.
So if someone will commit suicide just because her husband is insulted, that is the most strongest consideration. No? So that consideration should be expressed first. No? If it is such a strong consideration for a person, then that consideration should be expressed first. But she never expressed that consideration in her whole conversation. She never expressed that consideration. So if you take from that perspective, then it is clear that she was giving some reason, but that reason was not the reason why she was coming here.
Still, that is not the reason for it. She found that he is being insulted, that's why she got a few years. Earlier also, she was not expecting that he will get insulted. That's why she didn't talk about it.
No. If you see Shiva's statement, it's different. Shiva was telling that you are the pet daughter. Okay. And there in the purport, Prabhupada is saying that she was thinking that Daksha will become very happy by seeing her and she can make Sandhi between Daksha and Lord Shiva. Okay. So, the way Prabhupada explains is that it seems that it was always there in her mind. That she wanted to actually resolve this problem between her husband and her father. And that was her main motto of coming there. But she didn't give that as reason for coming there. She gave everything else as reason for coming there. You can go back and read. Yes.
You were mentioning caring.
Hmm.
So in that, many times it happens that somebody we are caring, we can express. But if somebody going out of track or somebody is harming, to protect him, we should many times not tell exact reason. Because if we tell the exact reason, he will feel bad.
Yeah, possible. Possible. What I am saying is a principle. Even in this case, if you actually focus on the care aspect, okay, it's very easy to resolve the differences rather than to focus on the difference aspect. There are two aspects. Okay. One aspect is that we care for each other in the assembly of devotees. We care for each other. The other aspect is we do have differences. Okay. So if we focus on the care aspect rather than the difference aspect more, it's easier to resolve the differences than to just focus only on the differences and without focusing on the care. So if two devotees are having differences, if we are able to establish that they actually care for each other, then they become more malleable to resolve the difference. Most of the time we think that the difference are there because they don't care, we don't care for each other. So it's very commonly that the kind of thought process is there.
While caring also, suppose we are caring some devotee,
Yeah.
and we are trying to protect him
Correct.
from some harm.
Mm.
So directly communicating, it will get.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. That's why I'm saying most of the time. That's why I'm not saying this is an absolute statement. Okay. There's a difference between absolute statement and statements which are generally good. So I'm not saying this is an absolute statement. I'm saying most of the time it is good if you focus on the care aspect of it. Even if you want to stop someone from getting into some wrong thing, okay, if he just understands that you care for him, he might be more open to listen to you than if you just use authority. Okay, if you just authority and if you just use authority, then he may be less inclined to listen to you. But if he actually understands, oh, this person is my well-wisher, he is really trying to care for me, then he will be more inclined to listen to you. That's always there. And you see many successful leaders in ISKCON, they are all successful because people think that this person cares. That's how people become successful leaders in ISKCON. If you have someone whom people think that he doesn't care, then you will not be so successful. Okay, we continue. Please read.
Derive personal material benefits or sense gratification is the reason persons like Daksha and his followers perform sacrifices. Such sacrifices are condemned here as a labor of love without actual profit. One may prosecute the Vedic injunctions of offering sacrifices and other fruitive activities, but if by such activities one does not develop attraction for Vishnu, they are useless labors.
Yeah. Dharmasvanishti pumsam visvakshena katasyaha na utpadeyati pratim shramayeva. Okay, continue.
Thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices but had no respect for the greatest devotee Lord Shiva, she was very angry. This is fitting. When Vishnu or a Vaishnava is insulted, one should be angry. Lord Chaitanya, who always preached non-violence, meekness and humility, also became angry when Nityananda was offended by Jagai and Madai, and he wanted to kill them. When Vishnu or a Vaishnava is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry. His devotee,
one
should not be tolerant when a person is offensive towards Vishnu or a Vaishnava. The anger of Sati towards her father was not objectionable, for although he was her father, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. But Sati's anger against her father was quite applaudable.
Yeah. So, it is good to know this, but it's also good to know that how to apply this in modern context. Because we find many people who are very insulting towards ISKCON, we find many people who are insulting towards Prabhupada. So, Kaliga is full of people who are demoniac nature and who are very insulting. And if you just become blindly angry, then things will not work out so easily also, because we have to preach to them, we should try to make them devotees, all these things is there. So therefore, we should try to also apply our anger very intelligently, and the best revenge we can have to those blasphemers is to make them devotees. That's the best revenge we can have on them. So, there may be situations where anger may be repaired, but in Kalika, generally be careful how to apply this principle. Okay.
But one who is envious by nature can become the enemy of Lord Shiva. Therefore, Sati accused her father. No one but you could be envious of Lord Shiva or be his enemy.
Okay.
The best good soul is one.
No, just like a bee.
Just as bee is always interested in the honey, in the flower, and does not consider the count and color, highly qualified person who are uncommon, accept only the good qualities of others, not considering their bad qualities, whereas the common man can judge what are good qualities and what are bad qualities. The best good soul is one who accepts an insignificant assets of a person and magnifies that good quality. For example, once a devotee of Lord Shiva wanted the benediction of wherever wherever he touched someone on the head, that person's head would at once be separated from his trunk. Lord Shiva agreed. Although the benediction asked was not commendable because the devotee wanted to kill his enemy, Lord Shiva considered the devotee's good quality in worshipping and satisfying him and granted the benediction. Thus Lord Shiva accepted his bad qualities as magnificently good quality. You are just the opposite. Although Lord Shiva had so many good qualities and had bad qualities at all, and no bad qualities at all, you have accepted him as a bad and found fault with him. Because of your accepting his good qualities to be bad, instead of your becoming the most exalted soul, you have become the most fallen. A man becomes the greatest soul by accepting the goodness of others' qualities. But by unnecessarily considering others' good qualities to be bad, you have become the lowest of the fallen souls.
Yeah. So in this context, there is this explanation about 8 types of people. So somebody can read this.
Mahat, a person who sees both good and bad qualities in others, but thinks that these bad qualities can eventually be transformed into good qualities when utilized in devotional service. Like anger is bad, but can be used in service of Krishna. Mahatara, a person who sees both good and bad qualities, but does not consider the bad qualities. For example, a person may be renounced, but he may eat more than necessary. Mahatara considers only his renunciation and appreciates that enough that though he sees that renunciate is overeating, he does not consider the fault. Mahatama, a person takes even a small good quality and magnifies it and does not consider even small faults. For example, seeing a thief coming to steal from him, he thinks he has only come to take because he does not have. But he is so merciful that even though he has a weapon, he does not use it on me. Ati Mahatma cannot find or see any bad qualities at all in anyone and can find only good qualities even in a very bad person. They say, world is full of good only, there is no evil.
Okay, these are all people who can find good qualities. So opposite to this is people who can find only bad qualities.
Sorry, sees both good and bad and thinks that good qualities will be turned into faults. Asadutta sees only faults only and overlooks good qualities. Asadutta takes small faults and magnifies them and does not consider any good qualities. Atyasaduttama sees faults only in others, does not see any good in others at all.
Yeah, so this is the classification of people given by Krishnacharya Thakur in his commentary for this verse. So it's good to know this type of people because we can see where we are. And we can see if we need some improvement or upgrade in our position. So therefore, it's good to know this. Okay, so in this room, everybody knows everybody else? Leave me alone. Except me, everybody knows everybody else? Yes? You're all working together with each other? Okay. So now we'll do an exercise. Okay? So, in this exercise, so two devotees will pair each other. Okay? Two devotees will pair each other. Okay? And you have 2 minutes. Each devotee has 1 minute. Okay? In 1 minute, you have to appreciate some good quality of the other devotee. Okay? And then, when your 1 minute is over, then the other devotee will appreciate some good quality of what you have. Okay? After that, you will change partners. Okay? Like this, when everybody has done with everybody, this exercise will be over. Is it clear?
Yes.
You understand the exercise?
Yes.
So,
long time it will take.
huh?
It will take long
No, 2 minutes only. No? We can take some time to appreciate each other. No problem. Doesn't matter. Because generally I see that in ISKCON, we are so busy that we keep doing our services, we hardly find time to appreciate each other. Right? And it is very good for us to appreciate Vaishnavas. Okay? So if you take a little time, it is fine. We are going to take only 2 minutes. Okay? 2 minutes per pair. Then after that you change pairs. Is it clear? Okay? So I will form the first pair. After that it will be round robin. You just go from one pair to other pair, change. Okay? Is clear? The exercise is clear. Everyone understood? The challenge is you have only 1 minute to appreciate the other person. That is the only challenge. Within that 1 minute, you have to find something good to appreciate the other person. Try to be as genuine as possible. Okay? Clear? Okay, I'm going to set timer. So after every 2 minutes, I will say time up. Then you have to change partner. Okay? Let me first keep the timer ready.
Every 1 minute you also.
We'll take that.
No, you're not supposed to take time to think. That is the whole challenge. Okay.
Prabhuji, he is asking what to do.
Who is asking what to do? Good morning. After explaining 3 times someone asking what to do, then you should say good morning. Okay. Okay, so we make pairs, okay? 1, 2. Left from chicken to the left. 1, 2. Okay? 3, 4. No. Yourself 1 and 2. Okay? So you do one thing. You chant Krishna, you chant Balaram. Okay? Then you keep chanting Krishna and Balaram. Each Krishna will chant pair with the next Balaram. Okay?
Balaram.
Okay.
Balaram.
So you understood now. You become pairs now. Okay. So he chanted Balaram. Okay. So you should go with him. Okay. And both of you. Okay.
Krishna.
Okay. Both of you.
Krishna. Balaram.
Okay.
Krishna. Balaram.
Okay. Both of you.
Krishna.
Balaram.
Okay. Both of you.
Krishna.
Balaram.
Okay. Both of you. Understood? Everybody is that you both together. Okay. Huh? One Krishna will come, no? So let him come. But you see what it is. He handled it. Okay. Ready. Get the pair. Get to your pair. Get in position, please. Get to your pair. Get in position, please.